Ever wondered how Canelo got that controversial draw against GGG, or why Pacquiao lost to Bradley when everyone thought he dominated? Welcome to the wild world of boxing scoring, where 3 people at ringside hold more power than the thousands screaming in the arena. Today, we're breaking down exactly how these judges decide who wins and who goes home disappointed. The birth of modern boxing scoring. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let's talk history. Boxing scoring was an absolute mess before 1968. Different states, different countries, hell, different venues all had their own wild systems. Some places used a 5-point system, others just picked who they thought won more rounds. It was like playing poker where everyone had different rules. Total chaos. Then the World Boxing Council stepped in with the 10-point must system in 1968. This wasn't just some administrative tweak, it was revolutionary. Suddenly, judges could actually distinguish between close rounds and complete beatdowns. They could reward knockdowns properly. Most importantly, everyone was finally playing by the same rulebook. The genius of this system? It's simple enough to understand, but complex enough to capture the nuances of a fight. Think of it like grading on a curve where someone always gets an A. That's your 10 points, and the other guy gets somewhere between an F and an A- depending on how badly he gets schooled. Legend that'll blow your mind. Willie Pep, one of the greatest defensive wizards ever, allegedly won a round against Jackie Graves in 1946 without landing a single punch. Just pure movement and defense. The story's been disputed for decades. Some say it happened, others call it boxing mythology. What we know for sure? Pep knocked Graves down 9 times and won by TKO in the 8th. But that phantom third round? It's become boxing's version of Bigfoot. Everyone's heard about it, nobody can prove it. Love boxing? So do we. Join. Like this video and join our growing community to learn more about your favorite sport. The sacred rules of the 10-point must. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Every round starts with both fighters theoretically having 10 points each. The winner must get 10 points. That's not a suggestion, it's law. The loser? He's getting 9 or less, depending on how rough that night went. Your typical round ends 10-9. Fighter A edges it out. He gets his 10. Fighter B gets 9. Simple, right? But here's where it gets spicy. Get knocked down? That's an automatic point deduction. So if you're winning the round but eat canvas, you're looking at a 9-9 round. Get dropped and you were already losing? That's 10-8 territory, my friend. Multiple knockdowns in one round? Now we're talking 10-7, maybe even 10-6 if you're getting absolutely destroyed. I've seen grown men leave the arena when their guy takes a 10-6 round. It's basically boxing's version of getting dunked on and having someone step over you. But here's the kicker. You can score a 10-8 round without a single knockdown. If one fighter completely dominates, lands everything while the other guy's just surviving, judges can drop that hammer. It's rare, but when it happens, you know someone just got a boxing lesson they'll never forget. And those 10-10 rounds everyone talks about? They exist, technically, but judges are told to avoid them like the plague. Why? Because boxing's about finding winners, not sitting on fences. In my years watching fights, I've seen maybe 3 legitimate 10-10 rounds scored. Judges would rather pick a side than punt the decision down the road. What judges are actually looking for? This is where casual fans get lost, and honestly, where a lot of controversy starts. Judges aren't just counting punches like some boxing video game. They're evaluating 4 specific criteria, and the order matters. First up, clean punching. Not just punching, clean punching. That means landed shots with the knuckle part of the glove with proper technique that actually do damage. A guy can throw 100 punches, but if only 20 land clean while his opponent lands 30 out of 40, guess who's winning that round? Quality beats quantity every single time. Second, effective aggression. Keyword here is effective. Coming forward throwing wild haymakers that hit nothing but air? That's not effective, that's just burning calories. True effective aggression means you're pressing forward, cutting off the ring, and landing meaningful shots. Think Mike Tyson in his prime. That's effective aggression. Some drunk guy swinging at shadows? Not so much. Third, ring generalship. This is the fancy term for who's controlling the fight, who's dictating the pace, who's fighting where they want to fight. If Fighter A keeps backing Fighter B into the corners and controlling the center of the ring, that's ring generalship. It's like being the director of the fight instead of just an actor in it. Fourth, defense. Yeah, defense actually scores points, but it's last on the list for a reason. You can't win a round on defense alone. This isn't a don't get hit competition, but if everything else is dead even, the guy slipping punches like he's Neo in the Matrix might get the nod. Here's the thing that drives fans nuts though. Different judges weigh these differently. Judge A might love a good boxer who controls distance. Judge B might favor the aggressive fighter who's always coming forward. Judge C might be impressed by defensive wizardry. Same fight, 3 different perspectives, potentially 3 different scores. The different flavors of victory. When the final bell rings, the math begins. Each judge tallies up their scorecard, and this is where things get interesting. You've got 5 main ways a fight can end when it goes to the cards, and each one tells a different story. Unanimous decision, UD. All 3 judges agree on the winner. This is the clean sweep, no controversy, everyone saw the same fight result. When you get a UD, it usually means one fighter clearly outclassed the other. No arguments, no Twitter wars, just pure domination recognized by all. Split decision, SD. 2 judges score it for fighter A, 1 for fighter B. This is where bar arguments start. Split decisions often mean it was a close fight with momentum swings. The losing fighter always thinks they got robbed. The winner says they knew they had it. The truth is usually somewhere in the middle. Majority decision, MD. 2 judges pick a winner, the third calls it a draw. It's like a split decision's cousin, who can't fully commit. The fighter who gets the majority still wins, but that one judge saying it was even, that plants seeds of doubt. Draw. The fight that solves nothing. Could be unanimous, all 3 judges score it even. Majority, 2 say draw, 1 picks a winner. Or split, each fighter wins on 1 card, third judge says draw. Draws are boxing's way of saying run it back. Nobody's satisfied, especially not the fans who paid good money. Here's some trivia for you. You know what's rarer than a perfect game in baseball? A legitimate unanimous draw in a major boxing match. When all 3 judges say, yeah, that was dead even, you've just witnessed something special. Or terrible, depends on the fight. CompuBox doesn't judge fights, but fans think it does. Let me blow your mind with something. Those punch stats you see on TV, the judges don't see them. While you're at home screaming, GGG outlanded him 218 to 169, the judges are working old school, just their eyes and their notes. CompuBox is great for TV and arguments, but it's not the Bible. It counts connection, not impact. A jab that snaps your head back counts the same as one that barely grazes your forehead. A bomb that nearly drops you counts the same as an arm punch that wouldn't hurt a kindergartner. Here's the perfect example. In the first Canelo GGG fight, Golovkin threw almost 200 more punches total and landed more in 10 of 12 rounds according to CompuBox. Sounds like a clear GGG win, right? But the fight ended in a draw because judges saw Canelo's shots as cleaner and more damaging when they connected. This is why you'll see fights where the busier fighter loses. Throwing and landing more doesn't automatically mean winning. It's like basketball. You can take 50 shots, but if the other guy's making his 20 attempts count for 3-pointers while you're missing layups, who's winning? The judges are looking for who's doing more damage, who's controlling the fight, whose punches are actually affecting their opponent. Sometimes that's the volume puncher, sometimes it's the counter puncher who lands the cleaner, harder shots. CompuBox tells part of the story, but judges are reading the whole book. The human element, where it gets messy. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Judges aren't robots watching through perfect cameras with instant replay. They're people sitting ringside, trying to see through the ropes, around the referee, past the cornermen jumping up and down. One judge might have a perfect view of that liver shot that changed the fight, while another's watching the back of someone's head. Championship fights require 3 judges, while smaller bouts might only have the referee scoring. These judges park themselves on different sides of the ring and can't whisper sweet scorecards to each other between rounds. They turn in their scores after each round to the commission. No takebacks. No, actually, let me change that. But here's what really happens. Judges develop reputations faster than fighters develop CTE. Some favor technical boxers who dance around throwing jabs. Others love Mexican warriors who wade forward eating shots to land bombs. Some seem allergic to scoring for the visiting fighter in Vegas. Is it corruption? Unconscious bias? Different philosophies on what wins fights? The answer is probably yes to all 3. The Nevada State Athletic Commission admitted judges can have bad nights, like that's supposed to make everyone feel better. When your bad night at the office means someone loses a belt and $5 million, that's not a typo on a TPS report. That's changing someone's entire life because you couldn't see around the ring post. Location bias is real as hell too. Fighting in your opponent's backyard? Better knock him out or knock him down repeatedly. The crowd noise shouldn't matter, but 20,000 Germans screaming for Felix Sturm creates an atmosphere that seeps into everything. Judges are supposed to be immune to this stuff. They're also supposed to score fairly, and we've seen how that goes. The robberies that changed boxing. Every sport has its bad calls, but boxing's got a hall of shame that makes other sports look fair and balanced. Let me tell you about the decisions that broke the sport and the people watching it. The 2017 Canelo vs. GGG fight featured possibly the worst scorecard in modern history when Judge Adelaide Bird scored it 118 to 110 for Canelo. To put that in perspective, the other judges had it 115-113 for GGG and 114-114. Bird only gave Golovkin 2 rounds out of 12. 2. Think about that. She watched GGG nearly finish the fight in both the 5th and 9th rounds, saw Canelo backpedaling through the 8th, and still gave him 10 rounds. Even Canelo's corner was telling him before round 10 that he needed to win the last 3 rounds of his life to pull it off. The backlash was nuclear. Oscar de la Hoya, Canelo's own promoter, threw her under the bus. GGG's trainer Abel Sanchez said she needed to go back to school. The Nevada Commission temporarily stood her down. When your scorecard is so bad that both camps think you're crazy, you've achieved a special level of incompetence. But wait, there's more. Remember Pacquiao versus Bradley? Most people had Manny winning 8 or 9 rounds easy. The judges? 2 of them gave it to Bradley. The crowd booed for 5 straight minutes. Pacquiao looked like someone just told him boxing was fake. Then there's Lewis versus Holyfield in '99, a draw that was so bad it triggered an actual investigation into corruption. Pernell Whitaker got robbed blind against Chavez despite landing over 100 more punches. These aren't just bad decisions, they're career-altering travesties. These disasters matter because they steal legacies. GGG's perfect 37-0 record with 33 knockouts got tarnished by that draw. Fighters lose their one shot at immortality because someone at ringside either can't see straight or won't score straight. Millions in future earnings vanish. Hall of Fame cases crumble, all because 3 people saw something nobody else did. The future of scoring, it's already here. Plot twist, the future of boxing scoring might not involve humans at all. Artificial intelligence judges have already been tested in high-profile fights like Fury versus Usyk. While they're not making official decisions yet, they're showing up as the 4th judge on broadcasts, and sometimes they're seeing fights completely differently than the humans. Here's what's wild. AI doesn't get influenced by crowd noise. It doesn't care about a fighter's reputation. It doesn't have a bad angle or get distracted by something happening in the 3rd row. It counts every punch, measures its impact, tracks ring control down to the square inch. It's basically CompuBox on steroids with a PhD in boxing analysis. But the boxing community has met AI scoring with skepticism. Why? Because boxing isn't just about numbers. It's about momentum, about damage that shows up 3 rounds later, about wearing someone down mentally. Can AI recognize when a fighter's spirit breaks? When body shots from round 3 finally pay dividends in round 8? The solution might not be replacing human judges, but supplementing them. Imagine judges having access to real-time data, actual punch counts, power measurements, territory control stats. Not to make decisions for them, but to inform their decisions. Like instant replay in other sports, but for scoring. Some promoters are already experimenting with open scoring, showing the scores after every 4 rounds so fighters know where they stand. No more fighting blind, no more hoping you're ahead. You know exactly what you need to do. Fighters either love it or hate it, no middle ground. So there you have it, the 10-point must system in all its beautiful controversial glory. Next time you're watching a fight and screaming at your TV about bad judges, at least you'll know exactly how they screwed it up. Remember, scoring boxing is part art, part science, and apparently part rolling dice in the dark. But that's what makes this sport so damn compelling. Hit that subscribe button if you want more boxing breakdowns and drop a comment with the worst decision you've ever seen. I know you've got opinions. Until next time, keep your guard up and your scorecards ready.